more of a video diary for myself. If I upload this, then I have uploaded it. If I haven't, then it's just for my eyes only. So, today is December the 19th. I am 2 days away from my extended bilateral brachioplasty. How to remember which way to put that, what order to put that in. And I'm very excited. So that means it is on a Wednesday. I do not know the time of my surgery yet because they are going to call me tomorrow and let me know when to stop drinking, eating, that whole thing. I am nervous because this is a new journey and I'm not exactly sure what is the next thing for me. I'm also a little bit nervous because just when you're leaving something old and going to something new, you don't know what to expect completely. I have looked up some videos and watched other people's experiences to some extent to try to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. This part of my shirt off, I've never shown my arms to anybody. So this is on the internet. All my friends are getting to see my arms for the first time. I always keep them covered, not for religious reasons or anything, just because I have that much skin. And I realized I forgot to shave, so I'm going to cover that part. So right here is all of the hanging skin. So when I move like this, you see that? There's a lot. You can see, like, when I do certain things, where is it? Yeah. When I do certain things, like right here, you can kind of see where the line of my skin, where my actual arm is, especially on this side, you can see it. It's right here. All of this right here is nothing but skin. So what they're going to go in and do is they're going to come, she said they're not going to go up here because she doesn't like, if they go up that high, the scar. They're going to come to about, she said, about right here. So much skin, my underarms do not breathe properly, and by breathing, air is not getting, like me sitting in this position, there is no air getting to under my arms. Even if I do it like this, I still am not getting any air to my underarms. I sweat a lot. I normally have to bring extra changes of clothes because I sweat that much, and it sometimes produces a horrible smell. Deodorants, doesn't matter what type of deodorant, even if you use organic, all natural, whatever, all the way down to an antiperspirant deodorant, or antiperspirant, those do not work either. Nothing has worked, by the way, to curb the smell or to stop the sweating. The insurance does not cover this because it's considered cosmetic. I personally think if you've worked this hard to lose weight and you're having issues, like where you're sweating, and it's not like it's just an uncomfortable, unpleasant smell, it's like a horrible, grotesque smell. Yeah, I think the insurance should pay for that, especially if you are taking strides to better yourself to be healthy so that, you don't be a burden later on. Anyways, that's the subject for another day. It is completely paid in full because before you go into surgery, where I went, you have to pay up. Now, I'm not saying who I'm having my surgeon with just because safety, my personal preference, I'm not going to say exactly who did it. So they say recovery time is 4 weeks, just because that way, he said that in 4 weeks my scar will be at 80%, basically the strongest it's going to get, and I should be good at that point. Surgery, according to the lady, said it was going to be either between 2 to 3 hours. Basically, I'm going to have the surgery that day. I'm going to go to the clinic, have the surgery that day, and then they're going to release me that same day, and I'll come home. I will have tubes to drain the blood in both arms, and the surgery did cost about $4,700. Yes, it did. That includes, though, for the faculty, the surgeon, the anesthesia. It covered the pre-op and then the post-op 90 days after. So I can schedule as many post-ops as I need to up to 90 days after, and all those are covered. And my recovery took about 3 months because I was extra special. That's why, because my body just was, it had some other things going on. Recovery was supposed to take like 6 weeks, not 3 months, but it ended up taking 3 months. So I wanted to share with you guys my experience because I didn't find a lot of videos here on YouTube about this type of surgery when I was researching for my own and trying to gauge, how did that happen? How did they recover? What was that all about? Their experience. Extended bilateral brachioplasty is where they cut you from here to here down to the side of your chest wall. I had so much skin that they couldn't just do from here to here. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to show my scars on the side of my chest wall. I don't think that's appropriate, but I will show you guys my scars right here on my arms. So I know this sounds really weird. I don't 100% remember how much she took off. I know that sounds weird, but I was trying to think about it the other day. I remember asking the doctor, and then I also remember I was kind of out of it, and I don't 100% remember what she said. I know that in circumference, it took off a good 3 inches on each arm at least.
All right, this is a better view of my arm. So this is my right arm, 12 days after surgery. It looks really good. It is still quite swollen. I don't know how bad of a shadow. There we go. We're more in the light. Yeah, it's still quite swollen underneath, but it's healing really nicely. I cannot extend my arm completely out. It hurts at the edges. But the scar goes from there into my armpit and then down the side of my chest wall. But this part I really like, and I really like how she did right in here, because there was a lot of excessive skin right in here. Okay, so this is how my arm looks. My left one, I'm very happy with it. This one just looks great, the way it was cut, how high my arm is. I can extend my arm more with this hand than I can with my right hand. It's not as sore on this arm as it is with my right. My right is tighter and more sore. Sorry. Anyways, so here it goes from there to the inside of there and down my chest wall.
I had so much skin that I always had to wear a large or an extra large shirt so you could get my arms to fit, because there was just so much skin. So this is a year out now. You guys may have noticed, so this is what they look like this. And then if I do this, you guys may have noticed there's a little bit of jiggle, a little bit of wiggle. She did say that we could go back in and get this trimmed up, because I remember going to my doctor's appointment and she even looked at it. She went, that fell a little bit more than she was even anticipating. So this is where she cut. So right after surgery, this is what my arm looked like. This is where she cut. And then now this is what it is today. It is nowhere near as big or as long as it was previously. So if you're like, wow, that's a lot. No, it ain't. It's nowhere near what it was before. It does feel like a lot if you did not know what before looked like, but it's not that much. So I will eventually want to go back and get this tightened up, because she felt that it's just nothing but skin. Nothing but skin. I don't know exactly why my body did that, but it did. And right here, as you can see with the scar, some of my scars healed kind of weird, because right here on this one, I don't know if you can see it, right here on this one, this completely opened up. I think it was the 3rd week or so after surgery. We were cleaning it, and I noticed that it had opened, and she had us do a wet gauze over it, and then she decided, okay, it's not really healing up the way that we should. Let's just do a dry to wet, which made a big difference. It healed up really, really well, and it basically healed up from the inside out. But it caused this arm to take 3 months basically to heal, because it had opened up so much. And if you can tell, it eventually sealed itself horizontally. That was not originally there when she did it. Emergency room the day of the surgery after we had gotten home, because my hands had swollen up to be like the size of Miss Piggy. If you've ever seen Miss Piggy's hands and like her wrist, yeah, they were huge. And we were really concerned because they just got big out of nowhere. And we went to the emergency room. The physician who operated on me was there. She saw me and worked on it, and it was really well. She just told me to elevate my hands. We did, and it went down, but that was a new thing for us. One thing I found really interesting was right after surgery, I was amazed at how small my arms were and how tight everything was. It was very tight. So I slept upright in a, I guess, like a lazy boy recliner is the best way I can think of it. I would sit like this with pillows propped up underneath me so that I could sleep and try to keep my back straight with my legs out. They did want me to walk as much as possible, and I did walk pretty often, you know, to keep blood circulation and no blood clots. I had to wear this contraption, extra large. Don't worry about the sizing. These things are small, okay? And my arm needed as much to be as tight as possible. I remember I ended up wearing it half that time, and what we had to do was, in the other one that we had to cut holes in here because my underarms were not being able to breathe, and I was sweating so much. I was personally sweating. I sweat easily. I was sweating, and then there was a smell. So they just did that so the air could pass through. So it did not leave a lot of fabric there to really compress this, as well as I was just in a lot of pain wearing this for a long period of time. And she already told me if I was struggling and if I was in so much pain, I could take it off because I was not being able to sleep. I was having some nerve pain in my right arm, a little bit in my left. It was just like I could feel it, and it would go down to this middle finger and be right here, and it was so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. Just to say, FYI, I'm very happy with my arms. I'll show you guys a little bit more. I'm very, very, very happy, especially what compared to what they used to be. I will get this, like I said before, trimmed up, but that's not my first priority. I do want some other surgeries done, like a tummy tuck, breast augmentation, and I think it's called a bra lift, because of the skin on my back. And another thing I found out with me having excessive skin was when I was able to take this off at night and go to sleep, I would be in so much pain because the skin on my back was so much more than on my arms for whatever reason. It was pulling, it was uncomfortable, and I could not sleep right. So I did just end up wearing this at night just to, it would hold me tight so that I could be comfortable enough to go to sleep. Now, this is obviously how I've experienced it. This is how my body reacted. It's not to say your body will. As well as with the scars, I am obviously brown. And my doctor was telling me women of my complexion are darker, or Asian women, normally when they have, they get any type of surgery like this, their scars are always darker than Caucasian women. And that doesn't bother me. Personally, my scars do not bother me. That does not bother me at all. I don't care that they're visible. They don't bother me. The only thing that was bothering me a little bit was just this amount of hanging skin that I would like to be fixed. But the scars themselves don't. So after a certain amount of time, you can then start putting a cocoa butter or a vitamin E oil on your skin. So what I did was the Palmer's cocoa butter formula heals and softens to help with the scar. It really has helped a lot. It also keeps it moisturized, and it's healing very, very nicely. I still use it to this day because this area can sometimes get more dry than the rest of my skin. And my mom would help me. Thank God for my mother. I needed someone to be my hands. I needed someone to help me even using the bathroom. Taking a shower was not really an option. I'm going to be honest, I was very scared of taking showers. So my mom had to like baby me and like take a rag and gently wipe off this area because I'm like, I don't want that much water on the shower going onto the stitches. It's making me nervous. So my mom was great. I could not have done that without her. To this day, I've been a year out. Sometimes I still have pain in my arms. I've even told the doctor that I sometimes still feel like it's still numb in certain areas. Like I haven't regained all the feeling like under here. In certain times, it's still very numb. Like I can tell that I'm touching it based on my hands, but sometimes I can't feel it. And I've also noticed that sometimes I will wear this even now to go to sleep. Not all the time because sometimes it causes pain in my hands, but I will sometimes wear this when I go to sleep because of the amount of skin that I have on my back. When you have tight skin up here and then really loose skin back here, I feel like it was a competing to try to find the best angle to accommodate my back and my arms, which even to this day, I still haven't figured out a sleeping position that I still feel very comfortable in and that does not cause discomfort. I had a great experience with my physician, with the entire physician's team, where I had the surgery. It was really good. She had a number that I could call to get direct access to her nurse so that if I was having any complications, the nurse was available to help me, as well as if she was off hours, they had a direct line for me to communicate with somebody else we actually emailed back and forth when I was having some pain in my arms and sent the pictures, and they were able to get right back with me. So that entire experience was very, very good. For me, I couldn't do much of anything with my arms, and I realized I relied so heavily on my arms. I just could not do much of anything. So I just sat down and watched Netflix a lot of Netflix. And it kind of, just at one point I was like, God, what am I doing with my life? Because I'm staring at this TV screen. I'm not doing anything productive. I was kind of getting in my own thing. Friends did come and take me out. My mom would take me out and to get me out of the house. But even sometimes going out of the house during that first 3 initial months was very hard because I got exhausted. And then my friends and my mom would constantly be getting on me because I'd be trying to lift heavy, heavy stuff. I just remember when I was going through all of that, I was kind of out of it a little bit. Not necessarily from the medicine, but because I was emotionally harsh on myself. I was really judgmental and hard on myself, saying you need to recover one way, you're not recovering good enough, you're not recovering strong enough, you failed, you're horrible. All these different things I was emotionally going through during that time, which did make my recovery a little bit harder for me personally, because I was mentally fighting that. And I kind of just was like, oh, I need to get out of this house. But then when I would get out of the house, I felt a little bit frustrated because I couldn't do much. I wanted to do so much with my hands, and I would need people to help me and assist me, which is not bad, but then you have to be patient. You have to wait. And I'm just like, I'm not very good at this. They do great. This is what they look like in this position. If my sleeves are up all the way, this is what they look like right here. You can't see the scar from this angle. Now, if I were to turn around and do like this, you can see the scar back there, but that does not bother me. Surprisingly, no one has ever commented on my scars, ever, because I never wore these types of shirts ever. So I didn't know what to do with myself. I had covered up my arms for so long because I didn't like how much skin I had. I just didn't think it looked pretty, and I didn't want to represent that to the world. Present that to the world. Especially being a young woman, and you want to put your best foot forward, but you also want to be appropriate about it. I just felt like it didn't look right, and I guess in some areas I kind of felt shameful about it, so that's why I covered my arms. And now that it's been so liberating for me personally to just wear sleeves like this. No sleeves. That just feels weird. No sleeves, nothing on. I had to get really used to that, even how I dress, because I had not been used to wearing no sleeve. Thank you for watching this video. I kind of feel like I was all over the place because I was trying to remember back. I just remember when I was in it, my mind, I feel like, was at a different place. And looking back, there's some things I remember and some things I don't. And I had to have so much help that I relied on my mom a lot. Another thing is, if you guys have any questions or I forgot to mention something and you're curious, leave that down in the comments below and I will respond back to you guys. Have a great day, and no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're going through, remember that you are beautiful and God loves you. Have a great day.